All right, y'all. Welcome back to another edition of From the Sandbox Sports, man. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us, man. We appreciate y'all for tapping in. Y'all support doesn't go unnoticed. The subscribers going up, followers on TikTok from the Sandbox Sports, Instagram from the Sandbox Sports, all that's going up, man. And, we can't thank y'all enough. We can't appreciate y'all. We can't put it into words, man, how much, we rock with y'all as much as y'all rock with us, man. From the 4 who watch us to the 230 who watch us, man. Each one of y'all, man, we greatly appreciate, and we can't tell you enough. Obviously today, you see me, I'm Dolly. Ty's got some, family stuff at the crib to handle. So I'm gonna get on here and rock out. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be a long one today. You see the flag up there. I'll address the elephant in the room later, later in the show. We'll speak on Rory a little bit, LSU getting swept. We'll speak on that. And then, we're going to finish it off with some words of encouragement, man, to the youth and to the young cats, man. So let's go ahead and dive right into it, man. So obviously, as we all know, if you're a sports fan, we had the Masters, the 89th Masters, I believe. It's a tournament that is probably the most prestigious in my eyes. You got your U.S. Opens, this and that, British Open, the Open, all that. That's for the people overseas across the pond, the Open's probably the biggest one. And in golf, the Open might be the biggest one, but in my eyes, to us Americans, man, this Masters is a weekend that people tune into who never watch golf. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows the Masters. It's probably one of the biggest sporting events in all of sports, man. You got the Super Bowl, and then probably the Masters. You know what I'm saying? If we dived into the viewership and all this and that, man, I'd say the Masters is up there, top 2, top 3. In golf, it's rare that you can, going into the tournament on a Thursday, it's rare that you can pick, a player to win. It's hard because golf is such ups and downs. And, that's the story of Rory Mcllory's career. You know what I'm saying? He started off as, a prodigy, one of, if not the best player in the world for a very long time. Won 3, don't catch me lying. I think he's got 4 or 5 majors, but he's won 3 of the 4 he's won 3 of the 4. And it's always the Masters that has given him that, that struggle, man. And, any sport, if you have that pressure on you and certain players have certain stigmas to them, have certain, little nuances about them that the fans and these reporters and all these guys will highlight and just throw a big exclamation mark on them. You know what I'm saying? And Rory's has always been, will he ever get it done in the Masters? He's been runner up. He's lost it days, day 1, day 2s. He's been cut. You know what I'm saying? So it's always been, is Rory going to get it done? And going into this one, he was in probably tip top shape. You know what I'm saying? And the lead up to the Masters was all on Rory. You know what I'm saying? So I can only imagine the type of pressure, the type of, I don't like that word anxiety, but I'm going to use it. The anxiety, the stress that it put on him because, golf is a sport to where your days are kind of numbered. You know what I'm saying? These young cats coming up, Aberg, Scheffler, you know what I'm saying? Hovland, Bryson, obviously these guys, young cats it's a young cats game and it's trending that way. And Rory's kind of the last, and Justin Rose come along. You know what I'm saying? He's, I'm not going to say we'll see this all year long out of Justin Rose. I think he felt good for 4 days and played a great 4 rounds of golf. You know what I'm saying? And almost got it done. But, it's not like golf is, we won't see another Tiger have years and years and years and years of just dominance, man. I think it's so up and down. So, it's a game to where you got to ride the wave while you got it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like football where you can, you can be this player for a very long time, like a Ray Lewis, a Ed Reed, a Troy Polamalu, that dominate the game and have long careers and be at the tip top of their career since they step into the league until the time they retire. You know what I'm saying? That's the game of golf. So for Rory to come in here after having and Rory is kind of a head case, I think. He doesn't show it. He did younger, throwing clubs in the water, yelling, all this and that. But he's for the most part, is a calm, cool, and collected cat. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, when you miss putts and you hit bad shots, your body, golf is probably the most outwardly emotional sport. You know what I'm saying? Guys will hang their head and get mad, this and that. So Rory handles that pretty well. But, to finish day one, after having such a hot start with 2 double bogeys, I think he shot 71, 72, something like that. I can't quite remember. My head's elsewhere right now, but to come the next 3 days and play solid golf Friday, solid golf Saturday, and Sunday to come in and absolutely grind. He shot 71 and won by 1, but it looked like, it didn't look like, it was in the bag the whole time. It did for a second. Boom, we're here. And then bam. You know what I'm saying? And then he started off hole 1 on Sunday with a double bogey. Bryson takes the lead. But all in all, man, I'm happy for Rory. Am I the biggest Rory Mcllory fan? Not really. You know what I'm saying? He's not. I give all the credit to where credit's due. You know what I'm saying? He's a great ball player. But he's just not he's just not my type of cat. You know what I'm saying? I like Brooks. I like Dustin Johnson. I like Victor Hovland. I like characters. You know what I'm saying? So, but all in all, man, to be in the upper echelon of golfers, Gary Player, Tiger Woods, Gene Sarazen, guys like that, to have that Grand Slam, that is not an easy feat to do by any means, much less winning 1, much less winning all 4 of them. You know what I'm saying? And he had a 13 or 14 year gap to where, it was 14 or it might've been 10 or something like that. I think he won in 2014, 11 year gap to where he didn't win a major. You know what I'm saying? He competed in a few, but to have that mental fortitude that he had, because if I'm being honest, I don't think that Rory looked like the best golfer on the field that day or all 4 days. You know what I'm saying? I think Justin Rose did. And if it come down to it, if Justin Rose hold that putt in that playoff and they went to a second one, I could probably see, Justin Rose winning. I think everything fell in Rory's hands and everything worked out the way it was supposed to. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Rory for doing his thing. Like I said, upper echelon of the golf world, being in there with the guys, that kids younger than me, my nephew's age, if they get into golf, they'll know a Gary Player, they'll know a Tiger Woods. They're not going to necessarily know a Dustin Johnson, Victor. You know what I'm saying? For Rory to be in that group of guys that will be renowned for, as long as time, 30 years from now, 40, 50, 60 years from now, when the Masters is still going on and nobody knows anybody, we're still going to hear Rory McIlroy. You know what I'm saying? So that's a huge feat right there in itself. And, I just get on here, give him his props. I didn't have him winning. Like I said, I had my money on Bryson. Bryson could have paid rent this week. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But yeah, shout out Rory, man. I want to talk a little bit about LSU baseball, man. Coming into this weekend, we were third in the country, coming off a solid sweep of OU, and it really felt like the tides were switching. You know what I'm saying? We lost to Texas. Lost the series to Texas. Things kind of felt iffy. Tennessee goes down, loses the series. then I'm like, okay, now we're making our way back in it. Arkansas is obviously there, but we're getting there. Cade Anderson had a tough 2 Thursdays, but that just is what it is. I think that pitchers are such creatures of habit that if you mess up their routine, their rest, all this and that, if Ty was here, he could probably vouch for me. He's different though. So I don't know if he could, but most pitchers would say, they like having a routine. They like doing, having their day's rest. I'm throwing a pin this day. I'm a long toss this day, run this day, and I'm ready to throw on Friday. So to throw that off by a day for 2 weeks in a row, obviously, I think it can hurt you. It can mess with your psyche a little bit. Granted, he pitched well, came out with 2 dubs. But Auburn is a team that, Auburn, I'll say A&M too. A&M looked good this week, and they looked good last week as well. Auburn, A&M, and OU were 3 teams that I do not want to see in the postseason, man. I think they're just scrappy teams, and Auburn come out and proved it, man. Put up some runs against Cade Anderson, Anthony Ianson, gave up a lot, and we just couldn't get it done. It is what it is. We had a tough weekend at the plate. When your offense runs behind a guy like Jerry Jones, who you expect to be on at all times, you know what I'm saying? Of course, Curiel, but we know leadoff. The game really doesn't revolve around a leadoff. You know what I'm saying? The leadoff can get things going, but it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that can really put games into their own hands and take games over. And, it was just a tough weekend, man. Baseball is a sport to where you go through stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have, granted, I would have loved to come out with one. We needed that one on Sunday. Just for standings, record plays into it. You want to win your region. You want to win the conference. You win the conference, you get home advantage in the regional and a super. Granted, you make it, and that goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? That goes a very long way in the postseason of baseball. Having home field advantage, playing at the house, getting to sleep in the bed, knowing knowing your fans are going to come in there and show out. That plays a big role. Are we out? Absolutely not. I think Georgia right now is probably top tier SEC teams. Tennessee's still up there. Tennessee's finally hitting a little bit of wall. Georgia's figuring it out on the mound. They beat a great Arkansas team. Arkansas is still scary too. But I don't want to chalk it up yet. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we dropped 3, but guess what? We have, 3 series left? Maybe 3, maybe 4 series left that we could possibly sweep 2 out of the 3, 2 out of the 4. So, we do that. We come back, shake back. We got McNeese tomorrow. We come back. I guess it dropped tomorrow. So we got McNeese tonight. If we can come out, get things going to play, get the bats back hot, man. Every time we had something going, I think going into Saturday at one point, like maybe, was it the 4th or 5th inning, man? I think that we were like 0 for 9 on the weekend with runners in scoring position, which does not win you any ball games. You know what I'm saying? That does not win. That won't win you nothing. You know what I'm saying? You can't beat Walmart, Supercenter, Universe. You know what I'm saying? You can't beat nobody like that. So, I think shake back, pitchers pitch decent. All that happened. We got touched up a little bit. That happens, man. It's SEC baseball. You're going to get touched up every now and then, but it's all about how you come back at the plate. You know what I'm saying? Auburn's guys didn't have the biggest arms. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's kind of where and I think I said it a couple weeks back that, that's the SEC pitchers. They can control off speed, have good, have good breaking pitches, have a good changeup and a fastball that can sneak up on you. I saw the guy on Saturdays, 89, 90. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing to bat your eyes at. But command, a nasty breaker, can throw it 0-2, can throw it 2-0. You know what I'm saying? That throws off a rhythm. It throws off, hitting is such a guessing game. You know what I'm saying? The best hitters are the best guessers on the planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? So not worried about it. We'll shake back. Got a big series this weekend. Shake back, get you 2 out of 3, get you a sweep. We're right back in it. I'm not worried about it. But, you know, and now we're going to kind of get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. I want to just get on here and lighten the mood a little bit, talk about some things. But like I said, you know, being an LSU fan, the things that transpired this weekend with Kyren Lacey is terrible, man. That, to say the least, is absolutely terrible. For a young man, a bright future, you know what I'm saying, to take his own life in the manner that he did is extremely heartbreaking for the world, but especially a guy like me who is a diehard. I bleed purple and gold. You know what I'm saying? People who are casuals to sports don't realize that you can. And I'm from Louisiana too. I'm from Shreveport, born at Shumpert Hospital. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a Louisianimal. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that pride in, you know, LSU sports, and I grew up playing sports. I grew up watching them. My dad was a coach. You know what I'm saying? So it hits different. It hits a little different for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a diehard fan, man. I go back to early Doucette, you know, Brandon LaFell. Man, I can go back as far as you want to go back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really trying true to this LSU sports. And for a guy like Kyren Lacey with such a bright future, granted, whatever happened, I'll get into that in a second, but with such a bright future, man, to see it cut so short, it's just sad, man. You know, it just goes to show that I don't know where we went wrong at, man. But I think that, you know, not we, because I'm 29 years old. You know what I'm saying? I have 2 babies, but I'm younger. But the guy's a little older than me raising these kids, man. I don't know where we went wrong at, man. I'm not going to call the kid, and I'm going to try and tread lightly, but, you know, I'm not one to really hold my tongue. I say what I feel. I feel like we have raised entitled kids and honestly, man, cowards. You know, like I said, I feel for Kyren Lacey. I know that, you know, he made one bad decision. You know what I'm saying? One bad decision ruined a life, ruined a whole family tree's existence. You know what I'm saying? For him to do what he was doing in the car. And this is another thing, man. I think we got to somehow regulate what these kids can buy and can't buy, man. We've had 2 or 3 traffic injuries at LSU in the past, you know, 6 months. You know what I'm saying? I think that it's got to be, and then Georgia's got all these accidents, man. You know, Jalen Carter goes out and kills a friend. Like, we got kids that are in these cars, these souped up Chargers, Challengers, that have never driven something with that much giddy up. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that, you know, you can't, if you don't know how to drive a Prius, what do you think you're going to drive a Hellcat for? You know what I'm saying? And not expect to get into some bullshit. I keep it funky that somehow, man, if I was Brian Kelly, I'd go in there and take every Hellcat, Charger, every key I got, said, man, look, and until this is over, you got to go. We ain't taking them keys, man. I'm taking them keys because this is getting out of hand, man. You know, these kids just think they're Superman. They got all this money now. They want to flex and floss. Like, back in the day, that wasn't happening, man. It was all football. It wasn't diamond chains. You know what I'm saying? Only one with diamond chain was Deion. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't all these glitz and glamour shit, man. Now it's so glitz and glamour. Who got the nicest car? Who got the fastest car? Who got the best drip? Who got the best jewelry? Like, it's ruining the essence of sports, and it's ruining how do I say this? Ruining the want to, I believe, of the kids to, instead of going out there and looking nice and doing this and that, who's going to go out there on the field and put in the work to be the best player? You know what I'm saying? So one bad decision in a circumstance that could completely been avoided cost someone their life. And I should have done thought of remembered the guy's name that Kyren Lacey killed, but I think it was an ex-Marine. Condolences to his family. It, cost him his life, and then it ended up costing Kyren Lacey his life. And reports are that, Kyren Lacey was in a chase with the police or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what the circumstances were. I honestly was so hurt and just so hurt in my stomach that I didn't even want to research and look into it, man. But from the brief things I've heard, that he was in a chase and I guess pulled over or got, I don't know what happened, but ultimately took his life, man. Back in the day, how I was raised, and like I said, man, I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm not trying to rub nobody the wrong way. Everybody's talking about this mental health, man. Back in the day, I knew nothing about that. And I still really don't, because that's just how I'm programmed, man. I think that obviously we all go through things. I carry a lot of weight on my shoulders. I'm 29 with 2 kids, in a family and a wife, a house, that I'm trying to teach these kids the right path, trying to put them in, daycares and schools, get them a great education, friends, all this and that, allow them to play sports, this and that. And I just carry a lot of weight and I don't show it. I don't really talk about it. Other things that have happened in my life, I don't really, my friends will tell you, my parents will tell you that I just don't really, I'm not the type to show my emotions. I'm not the type to talk about it at that. I don't talk about a lot of the things that I go through. I take pride in handling them myself. You know what I'm saying? And that makes me feel like a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be this macho man. I'm tough, this and that. It just makes me feel like I'm doing my job. You know what I'm saying? And of course, sometimes, I'll break down and have my moments. I can speak to my wife, if I need some to get off my chest, you know what I'm saying? But because that's my confidant. But growing up, I never really, it was almost like a Spartan camp, man. Don't cry, don't do this, don't show weakness. You know what I'm saying? You get hurt, you get back up. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, I feel like we're so, and I don't mean Democrat, Republic political, but so politically correct that, we got kids now painting their nails. It's all about mental health. And I get it. I do. I get some people struggle with that. I got friends who do. But like I said, man, I'm different. I'm cut different. I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand how anything can really get that tough. You know what I'm saying? To where, and like I said, I've been through the fire. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not trying to brag or nothing, but I've been through the fire. I've been through some things that, and I've seen some things that, I carry a lot of hurt, a lot of sorrow, a lot of grievance. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like it's destroying me. I might just be mentally tough. I don't know. That might be it. And like I said, I'm not trying to compare. I'm not trying to down nobody, but when Kyren did what he did, the first thing people said was mental health. And I'm torn between feeling for him and not, because at the end of the day, yeah, you killed somebody, but you made that decision, man. You made that decision to get in that car and ride like an idiot. And it ultimately cost a man his life. So when we talk about the mental health, about, check on this and that, where was the mental health issues when he was signing the $3 million NIL deal? You know what I'm saying? Where was it when scoring touchdowns and playing Saturday nights in Death Valley? Like, I just think that it comes down to, honestly, a cowardly act. When I was growing up, it was, you do the crime, you do the time. And I'm not saying it in that aspect, but every action has an equal reaction. You know what I'm saying? And if you're going to do it, if you're going to step out there and do something, you better be able to accept the consequences. You know what I'm saying? And with the Lacy situation, look at Henry Ruggs, man. He'll be out in a year. You know what I'm saying? He'll be out. A team in the NFL will pick him up, and everything will be, granted, he'll still probably carry that weight on his shoulders, but everything will be back to normal. You know what I'm saying? As close to normal as normal can be at this point in his life, you know, having that smut on his jacket, if you would say. But it's never, it was never to the point to where Kyren Lacey should have took those actions. And like I said, I believe that's the cowardly way out, you know, and I can say that with confidence because one of my best friends on the face of this earth, long live Brian, man, took his life in a similar manner. And I'm hurt to it to this day. It was February 2020, I believe. You know, so it's been a while, but you know, I'm hurt. It hurts a lot, but in my mind, I'm still thinking like, man, you like, bro, I talk to bro. I'm saying, bro, like you took the easy way out, man. It's never that serious. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the type of guy that I feel like if you need to talk to me, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to my homies. I'm talking to the followers. I'm talking to my family if they're watching. Like, man, if you don't ever feel like you got somebody, you got me. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you are lost, if you feel like you have, you know, or on your last leg, man, I promise you can DM me, you can call me, you can FaceTime me. I'm here, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to lose nobody else. You know what I'm saying? And I know Kyren Lacey had those guys. I just think it was a rash decision in the moment. Had court today, I believe. Today, when I'm recording this Monday, had court for an arraignment. You know, and who knows what would have happened. It's kind of different knowing the circumstances that had him in that situation about taking the police on a chase. Maybe, you know, that they might not have granted him bond. You know what I'm saying? They might have hold him to the later court date. You know, that justice system is a little crazy. So who knows that what would have happened with that? But if that wasn't the case, if he didn't take the police on a and like I said, who knows if it would have even mattered, he probably would have got off on bond. You know what I'm saying? He probably would have been free until it was time to go to court and you know, do all this and that and get your judgment. But, you know, I just feel like this, it should have never been this, you know what I'm saying? And I'm hurt because, you know, like I said, diehard LSU, I'm hurt as can be, man. But I believe, and I'm not the overly spiritual guy. You know, I believe in God wholeheartedly. I pray every day. I pray every night over my family and my friends and you know, my life and my daughter's lives, my wife's life. I pray every single day. And I'm not trying to be the preacher man, or I'm not trying to say all the cliche shit, but man, if you sit down and you talk to God about your struggles, your problems, man, God, that dude works miracles, man. And I think that, you know, we're seeing nowadays a lot of these kids taking their own life, in numbers that have never, it's probably the highest in the past since 2020 to now, 2025. This 5 years has probably been the highest suicide rates in America ever. I just think that, you know, instead of us teaching all, or not us, because I would never, instead of us pushing all this, you know, equal this, you know, guys can be girls, girls can be guys, this and that. Let's all make everybody one. There's difference between males and men and females and women. Like, no, if we would push a God, if we would push right and wrong, I think things would change, man. I think it's time for change. I think it's time to open our eyes and see that these youths are really are not in the right space. You know what I'm saying? Their heads aren't in the right space, especially in this sports world, to where there's so much money flying around. You can transfer to 4 schools in 4 years. Look at TJ Finley at LSU. He's on his 5th school. Look at Nico holding out at Tennessee. And we'll talk about that. We'll do a later episode later in the week, a real episode. This is more of a just a real episode to, you know, kind of separate between a podcaster, you know, sports guy, and a human. You know, I wanted to come on here as more of a human, but I just feel like if we would push more more God, and God can be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be Christian. It doesn't have to be Islam. It doesn't have to be this. It just needs to be pushed a belief in something. You stand for something. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. You know what I'm saying? If we push that, I think we can deprogram to reprogram this youth, man. I'm stuck between not wanting to sound like conceited or something, but I feel like if I could speak, if I could get in, certain rooms, I could really maybe change some perspectives on life from my beliefs and my, like I said, things that I've gone through and gotten over the hump, man. If I can do it, man, anyone can do it. You know what I'm saying? It's never to the point to where you should feel like, man, I need to do this and it's my only option. You know what I'm saying? There's always an option B. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Lacy had a good support system, man. I see all the guys, posting about him, this and that. I know him and Malik Neighbors were like glue. So I know that there was a support system out there, but just for that to even come up in his mind. And on top of that, why he even had a gun, you know what I'm saying? Why he even was driving around with a gun amazes me. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to touch a Kyren Lacey. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't even got the NFL bag yet. You know what I'm saying? He has a better chance of getting touched in the NFL than he did right now. But I just feel like if we could just start pushing a more positive narrative, I feel like things in this world right now are so negative. All the stuff I talked about just a second ago, I'm not going to get into it no more. I don't want to get political, but I just feel like if we could push a better narrative, and that's what I'm trying to do on From the Sandbox, man, I just really wish we could, y'all pressing that sub, pressing that, a bell, comment and stuff, man, that really would help push this out there. You know what I'm saying? I want to be nothing but positive. I want to change lives. I want to stop this from happening. The things that happened to Kyren Lacey, that happened to my brother. Again, rest in peace, Brian. Long live, bro. You lived through me. If we could just get guys that have my type of mindset, have my type of character, pushing that out there, man, I think this world could be a whole better place. And I'm not saying I'm the almighty. I'm not saying I got everything figured out. I just know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And what I do know, I want to help. You know what I'm saying? I want to stop this from happening. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to wrap it up, man. I just had to get on here and kind of, for the LSU fans to, kind of talk about it. I had to bring it up, obviously. We're in this media space now. But just kind of give my 2 cents. I got all my condolences for the family, all my condolences for Kyren Lacey and whatever he was going through. Do I believe it was right? Absolutely not. But, God is the ultimate judge. God is the judge and the jury. And Kyren is finally going to get his day of judgment. You know what I'm saying? I heard something today that it struck me, and I won't dive all the way into it, but it made a lot of sense. I was watching, Coach Jason Brown, his show. He had a player say, it's crazy these days that we can praise someone after they die for murdering somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I felt that, like, nobody talks about the man that got killed. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to feel bad for Kyren, this and that. And I feel bad he was in the situation. I don't feel bad at what happened in the situation for him, because you did it. You made your bed. You got to lay in it, man. And that's why I'm saying that I believe it was a cowardly act. And I'm not necessarily calling him a coward. His personality, it was just a cowardly act. Because, like I said, I'm the type that's going to, face my punishment, whatever comes with it. If I decide to do it, if I step in that field, I know what comes with that field. You know what I'm saying? And I'm all the way ready for it. So I just had to get on here and give my 2 cents, man. Hopefully I can, if 2 people listen and one person's going through something this touches you, man, if you need to reach out and talk, man, I'm here. To my homies who don't even watch my shit, watch our shit. is what it is. If y'all watch this one and y'all get to this point, you better comment. You better comment something, motherfuckers. But to my homies, man, look, if y'all need me, I'm here. Anybody, man, look, I'm here. I'm a call away. I'm a DM away. I'm a comment away. I watch every single comment every day, man. I'm not one of these types that doesn't read the comments. If you've commented on our stuff, I've got back with you. You know what I'm saying? So if it ever gets to a point where you feel like you're lost, you feel like you got one more, you got the last option, man, reach out, bruh. Reach out. And I promise you, man, if you gave me a line, if you gave me your digits, bruh, I would call you, talk about it, and just, try and talk you off that cliff, man. So like I said, man, we appreciate y'all for rocking with us, man. Tap into From the Sandbox Sports, wherever you get your podcasts, From the Sandbox Sports on all socials, man. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Till next time. Peace.